see you survive. I guess you got hard, Mayo. You made me harsh. So harsh. You got me so hard. There was a moment where I stopped being hard, but I thought of you, and it got me hard again.
All right, horns up, metalheads. Time for another edition of Rockin' Metal Revival.
And we're hard. We're going to get hard.
This show is going to be hard.
Everybody's going to be hard.
Hard and heavy, yeah.
You're not going to want to listen to this in front of anybody.
Yeah, hey, buddy, it's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame weekend. Our buddy Dax Nielsen going to be out there watching his dad get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with great bands like Deep Purple.
Abducted.
Abducted. I said inducted, not abducted.
Inducted. That sounds perverted, too.
Take it as you want, Hey, on today's show, we've been trying to get this guy on the show for a while. We had a great time talking to Vivian Campbell.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That was very cool.
Talking to him about his project Last in Line, and we talked to him a little bit about Def Leppard and Dio and all kinds of stuff. Jerry talked about playing air guitar with him. It was...
Yeah, we were shredding, dude.
Yeah.
Too bad we didn't get that on video. Too bad you
didn't record the... Okay. So that comes up next hour. We got News of the Weird. We got Talking Real Metal. But right now, brand new music. This just dropped on Monday from their upcoming album coming out April 22nd called Dark Side of Black. Here's Texas Hippie Coalition. This song's called Rise. Turn this up.
THC, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
We're all about it.
Yeah.
Right here on Rockin' Metal Revival. From the CD Pyromania, there is Def Leppard and Mirror Mirror on Rockin' Metal Revival. And
it wasn't on Pyromania, but that's like the live version.
Yeah.
I didn't want to play this too. I went and found an exclusive one they only gave to me.
Yeah.
Only I have.
Mirror Mirror's on High and Dry, but you got it down here as Pyromania, the deluxe edition.
Yeah, because it's a special live album.
I liked Pyromania.
From when they played live in '83 in California or something. So I figured, why put the studio? Let's put a live one on there.
That was the last album I liked from Def Leppard.
Yeah.
Pyromania.
Yeah, I can say that too.
Yeah, so on today's show, speaking of Def Leppard, we had Vivian Campbell on the show, and you and I have always wondered why we never hear Viv when we hear Def Leppard.
Yeah, it's always Phil.
Yeah,
he's pretty much... But, I don't know, we talked to him about it.
Yeah.
His job, he knows his job. He's got a job in Def
As The
Leppard.
Rock says, he knows his role.
Yeah, and they got to know your role.
Yeah.
Yeah, you smell what The Rock is
cooking. Yeah. Hey, new albums dropped last Friday. Cheap Trick's new album.
Yeah, it didn't break, though. Bounced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that album.
Yeah.
Do you have it?
I don't have it yet.
Yeah, I actually bought a copy off iTunes.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
And then, I like it. I just think that, this is where I get disgusted with bands like Kiss is, at least Kiss has been putting out new albums lately. But for a while there, man, it was just greatest hits after greatest hits after different packages. And it's like, come on, guys, fuck. And one thing about Cheap Trick, they've put out one.
Yeah.
One greatest hits album, and that's about it. I mean, they did redo the Budokan thing, but they actually released both nights of Budokan, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah, not bad.
But there's, still releasing and writing and recording new music.
Yeah, that's a good thing, man.
And so I've been kind of digging that, and I also got a new copy of the new Blackstone Cherry.
Kentucky. You got that?
Yeah, I bought that too.
Is it good?
Yeah. You know me, dude. Kentucky, I love that band.
I know you do. Is it all about Kentucky?
Yeah, pretty much. I'll be in Redneck.
Yeah. Cool.
And talked to Ben Wells yesterday.
You did?
Yeah. He's like, dude, we've been just buried with press. He goes, yes, we will be on Rockin' Metal Revival. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Sweet.
So we got that coming up. Lots of news of the weird, man. I've been hearing a lot of weird stuff, especially here in the land of cheese farts and bratwurst. Our election is over.
Oh,
at least I don't have to watch them primaries.
Yeah.
I don't have to watch them damn
stupid
ads
commercials
all the time.
Yeah, we should put some ads on TV.
You think so?
We can lie and say we're great and we got the face for TV.
Do you think so?
Yeah, we could do that.
I don't never wanted to be a politician, brother.
No, me either.
So last week I was in Nashville last weekend.
Yeah,
and went down and hung out with Eric Brittingham.
They let you leave?
Yeah, man.
That's cool.
But like I said, I walked into this bar in Nashville, and here's
they have bars there.
Lots of them.
Oh, cool.
Oh, if they did an ultrasound of my liver, I could. But anyways, walking into the bar, and who's standing at the doorway when I walk in? John Corabi.
He's running the door.
He was the doorman.
He was the bouncer.
No, but he was standing at the door, and I talked to John, and the band Cheap Thrills, which is Brandon Gibb.
Yeah.
Brandon Gibbs, I should say. Eric Brittingham. Ian Corabi, John's son, was drumming and did a hell of a job.
Really?
And then the guitar, I can't remember the guy's name, but he's a guitar player from Collective Soul.
Oh, yeah?
And I tell you what, they rocked, man. It was a great band. Dave Marshall, who played in Vince Neil's solo band and also was a guitarist for Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
I met him. He was in the crowd. Saw Dana Strum, Mark Slaughter. Yeah, so it was kind of like an 80s hair band reunion down there.
Nice.
But what's her name wasn't there?
No.
What was her name?
Oh, 80s hair Jennifer?
Jennifer.
From 80s
yeah,
hair
she wasn't
band.
there.
She wasn't there?
No.
And it wasn't a complete reunion then.
She might have been at Chris's.
Oh, yeah, she's probably making out with Chris.
And Neely, in the corner, gangbang. All right, let's get back to some more tunes, and we're going to leave it at that.
That's a pretty fucking picture.
Hey, coming up, we might have a member of Judas Priest coming on the show, so I thought we'd play this one from Juggulator. This is Burnin' Hell.
Oh, nice.
On Rockin' Metal Revival.
No Bieber, boy bands, or Kardashians. Only the best hard rock and classic metal. Rockin' Metal Revival.
From Kill 'Em All, there's Metallica and the Four Horsemen on Rockin' Metal Revival. And dude, I think that might be my favorite Metallica tune.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. Did you pick? Are you going to pick up the reissue of Kill 'Em All?
I might. Yeah.
I was thinking about getting that.
I would just like to have them because the volume's a hell of a lot louder.
Yeah. I have to admit that
those you put in those old CDs and it's like, wow, man, really quiet. You got to fucking crank it up and then put something new in and it just blows your head off.
Yeah, I was thinking about maybe even picking up the reissue vinyl.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
that and Ride the Lightning's coming out too, right?
Some great classic Metallica there, and I got some friends got some tickets to go see them in Minneapolis.
Nice.
Yeah,
that'd be a good show.
Yeah, I'd like to see them. I just can't put myself in a Viking stadium.
No.
I just can't. It just makes me feel dirty.
You have to tuck your wiener between your legs and walk all funny.
Yeah, make me feel like a Viking fan. All right, so let's get back to, speaking of that, let's do News of the Weird.
Okay.
All right, penis ring sparks bomb alert in German casino. The vibrating sex toy led to evacuations and street closures.
Dang. Must have been a hell of a ring.
You always said that yours could stop traffic.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. The gambling hall wasn't taking any chances.
I put spikes in it and throw it out there to flatten tires.
There you go. Yeah, what is it called? Spike strip?
Yeah.
All right. Employee of the casino in Germany heard ticking and humming noises from a men's bathroom trash bin Tuesday, called police. Local German authorities reported. Cops evacuated dozens from the casino and adjacent shops, blocked off the street, called in the bomb squad, and the bomb squad eventually found something not so explosive in the trash. Well, how do they know?
Yeah.
It might have worked for him.
Yeah, there might have been jizz all over the place.
Yeah, who knows?
Got there.
A penis ring that was still vibrating, locals wrote in the paper, said was found in the trash can. An official told German publication Volksstimme that the department had to react to be on the safe side.
Yeah.
That's right. As for the battery-powered sex toy that caused all the panic, no one knows how it got there.
I bet someone does.
Somebody knows how it got there. This is something I have never seen in 36 years in the force. This tops everything, the chief of police said. This isn't the only emergency response to penis ring activity in Germany of late. In March, firefighters had to remove several rings from a fetishist.
Oh, fetishist.
Yeah.
Is that what you are?
You are? Yeah,
that's what I go by.
You're a fetishist?
Yeah.
We should ask V with that.
Yeah, she'd know.
She'd know, exactly. Can you imagine several of them?
No. Just stack them on top of you could fit probably about 6 or 7 on there.
Well, it's 3 inches apart.
Yeah.
All right, so a cereal box full of cocaine. That's the way to start your day. Breakfast has just got a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
Would those be Frosted Flakes?
You'd be fucking get your ass up fast.
Yeah, exactly. One bowl of this stuff,
No
you'd
coffee.
wake up right away.
Don't
You don't need coffee.
No,
You cut the caffeine out of your
You
diet.
eat a box of fucking cocaine for breakfast. Yeah, you're going to be going for a while.
And you're going to get things done.
Yeah, there's going to be stuff getting done. It's not going to make any sense or be worthwhile, but it'll get done.
That's right. 2 men were arrested Tuesday after a traffic stop led police in...
Must be Florida.
Yeah, right, Florida, to discover an unusual prize inside a package of breakfast cereal.
They're great.
Police say Efren Zwinga, 19, and Jose Moreno, 24, had more than 500 grams of cocaine wrapped up in a cereal box, according to Putnam County Sheriff's Office.
Yeah, they'll never look in here.
Yeah, authorities said they had a little help from a canine named Axel, who sniffed out the breakfast of the convicted champions.
Rose?
Yeah.
He does coke.
He'll
find the coke.
That's how he lost all that weight. After the suspects were pulled over for a faulty equipment violation, when deputies opened the cereal box, they discovered approximately 514 grams of powdered cocaine, police said. The amount of cocaine has a street value.
Like powdered sugar. You know,
It
there's
could
a
have
lot
been.
of powdered sugar in that stuff.
Yeah. Well, too much sugar in kids' breakfast cereal. A value approximately $14,000 to $16,000.
Nice.
Police say Zwinga had cocaine in his pocket also. The Honeygrams...
Couldn't fit it all in that bag.
No. The Honeygrams branded box was found stuffed inside a duffel bag on the back seat, police say. Zwinga and Moreno are charged with cocaine trafficking.
See, they should have went with, like, Wheaties or something. They wouldn't open that.
Well, you know, Wheaties, look what it does to a guy.
Oh, yeah. That too.
Look what it did to Bruce Jenner.
Yeah, crazy.
All right. Serial killer, Ohio's home available for rent during Republican convention. Looks
cool.
like Jeff Dahmer committed his first murder inside this house.
Oh, nice. And it's for rent?
Yeah.
Well, I know fucking Cruz is going to want that place.
Well, it's right down there by Chris's place, so, I mean...
Yeah.
I bet it's at Nelson Ledges.
It could be. It could be right next door.
The Ohio childhood home of serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer is available to rent for the Republican National Convention this summer. Could have been had for $8,000 a month until Friday afternoon when the price went up and references to the infamous criminal came down.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I figured hey, Dahmer murdered people in this one. Wouldn't you want to pay more for that?
You're going to make a killing at the convention in this house.
Yeah.
The home where Dahmer grew up and in 1978 committed his first murder in Bath, Ohio, 26 miles south of Cleveland, where the convention is scheduled to be held in July. The listing on the real estate company website initially included a reference to Dahmer, but on Friday that was removed and the price has been increased to $10,000 a month.
Wow. Yeah, take his name off and get more.
Yeah. Dahmer was convicted in 1992 of the murder and dismemberment of 17 boys and men, some of whom he ate over a period of 14 years.
Still got the stench of a nice aroma.
He was beaten to death in 94 by another prison inmate while serving 15 life terms right here in Wisconsin.
Yeah, way to go, guys.
Yeah. Hey, in Wisconsin, we eat people.
Hell yeah.
Between him and Eddie Gein.
Nice.
All right.
Good job.
So
that's why he moved from Ohio to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So he could get better work.
Well, and it's colder, so the meat would stay better longer.
Oh,
if he had to leave it outside.
Yeah.
All right, good dog. Pet brings home $1,000 worth of marijuana.
Good puppy dog.
That's right. A pet dog went out to do her business, but came back a crime-fighting hero. Miley, a black lab mix, will receive a certificate for bringing home a pound of marijuana.
Nice.
That started an investigation, according to Jones County, Mississippi Sheriff's Office.
Fucking pound.
Yeah.
Wow.
We are very proud of her, the sheriff said. You know why? Because Miley didn't keep it to herself.
We're going to party.
Meanwhile, the investigation is ongoing. On March 26, Miley left the house on a bathroom outing and brought back what appeared to, at first to be trash that she had torn through. But on closer inspection, Miley's owner suspected it, and it was the weed. It was smoke.
Kush.
Kush.
Some nice kush.
The owner then contacted law enforcement and turned over...
Thought you attacked a skunk or something.
Yeah, you got into a skunk again. 1 pound cachet, which appeared to have been packaged in several baggies for sale, and it was valued at $1,000.
Now, are they sure this dog wasn't out dealing on its own? And just didn't have a place to... Just forgot to bury her stash and brought it home?
You never know.
She might have been out there...
Yeah. You can't trust all dogs anymore.
No, I wouldn't trust. You can't take her word for it.
No, exactly. So that's
It's her weed, man. She's got glaucoma.
Yeah, that's going to wind up news of the weird right now. And coming up next hour, we'll talk to Vivian Campbell of Last in Line. But right now, what do you say we play a little Ozzy?
Okay.
This is Killer of Giants from The Ultimate Sin on Rock and Metal Revival.
Here's your latest hard rock and metal news on Rock and Metal Revival.
All right, metalheads, it's time to shut up and listen up.
Yeah, pay attention.
It's time to learn something. It's time to talk real metal. Get the kids, get your grandma, get your girlfriend, whatever you need. We're gonna get you some learning here.
I'm gonna edumacate you.
That's right.
Edumacate the hell out of you.
If you didn't learn anything in those 12 years of fifth grade,
you're
gonna learn something now.
Yeah.
Steven Tyler says Aerosmith is probably doing a farewell tour in 2017.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
Kiss's Gene Simmons says having Thayer and Singer wear the Spaceman and Catman makeup was the right decision. What do you think?
Yeah, because nobody would want to go see them with their ugly-ass mug without it being painted up.
Yeah.
Gene and Paul are looking pretty old and ugly.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd score a lot of chicks anymore. Unless they're at the old folks' home.
Yeah. All right.
Where they have the gangbangs.
Dude, we don't got enough time for me to go on this subject. AC/DC's Brian Johnson guests on Jim Brewer and the Loud and Rowdy album, Songs from the Garage.
Hey, at least he's got a gig.
Yeah.
He's moving on.
Michael Schenker, Temple of Rock, to release On a Mission live in Madrid, CD and DVD, Blu-ray in May.
I'll be getting that.
Zach Wilde teams up with Guitar Center for exclusive masterclass program. Do you know anything about this?
Yeah, you get a backing track and you record or video yourself playing a lead to it or whatever, and then he picks somebody to give him a masterclass. So I guess you don't want to do too good.
Yeah.
If you show him up, then he's not going to pick you.
No. Def Leppard's Joe Elliott says his vocal issues weren't caused by singing.
No, it was smoking.
You think so?
Smoking a weed.
Really?
I don't know. I'm just
speculation.
Spreading rumors.
Iron Maiden's Nico McBrain says Bruce Dickinson's cancer battle inspired him to get sober. They just played in Chicago last night. I know a bunch of people that went.
Well, that's good. I'm glad he's sober.
Yeah.
Makes it a little easier.
Yeah. Twisted Sisters JJ French, I don't foresee us playing ever again. Good.
Well, good, because then Dee Snider won't have to eat his words about Kiss doing that.
Exactly. Ace Frehley hopes to release his next book in 2017. You know, Ace had told me about that last time I seen him.
Yeah.
He goes, you thought No Regrets was good?
Yeah.
He goes, now I'm going to start to tell some stuff.
Yeah.
So
full of regrets.
Yeah, this is all my regrets. Rob Halford, new Judas Priest album to arrive in early 2017.
Cool. I'd be good with that.
Anthrax Scott Ian says AC/DC should just stop if Brian Johnson is unable to continue fronting band.
I kind of agree with that, but they already got all those tickets. They don't want us to give all that money back for those 10 shows.
You know, and who the hell, Scott Ian?
They already
when Joey Belladonna was gone, he replaced him with John Bush, and then they replaced him with Dan Nelson, and then they were back to Joey Belladonna.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Metal Church 11 lands at number 57.
Yeah. It's like how I put
V7, yeah.
I do.
On Billboard chart. That's good news for metal music.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Not bad.
Except Wolf Hoffman says his new solo album is a lot more metal than classical.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I wonder if it's all going to be instrumental or if there's vocals and shit on it. Or
got no idea. AC/DC's Thunderstruck used to improve cancer drug delivery.
Yeah, the vibration causes some kind of molecular thing going on that makes the medicine work better.
Wow, thanks, Phil Nye, the science guy.
Yeah, man. Right. So you just want to vibrate a lot. So if you got one of those cock rings, you just keep that on while you're doing your stuff. Get that vibration
going. There you go. The Guns N' Roses performs at the Troubadour. I saw some highlights of this. It wasn't bad. Axl actually sounded pretty good.
Yeah.
Kind of scared me.
Huh.
Foreigners in talks with Lou Gramm about 40th anniversary celebration, says Mick Jones. That would be cool.
Yeah, I don't know if Lou can sing anymore, though. Man.
I don't know either.
I don't know. He went through a lot of health problems and shit,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
I mean,
But he has a great voice.
yeah,
man.
Kelly Hansen does a great job for Foreigner.
Yeah, that's
I really
true.
think so. Well, coming out, Zach Wilde is out on that Guitar Hero thing, that tour with Steve Vai and everybody.
yeah.
Yngwie, and but he's going to be putting out Book of Shadows too.
Oh,
So, that'll be acoustical and mellow.
yeah.
So I thought we'd play this one. What do you think? Between Heaven and Hell.
sure. All
right.
That's like our show.
Yeah, right between heaven and hell. Coming up next hour, we'll talk to Vivian Campbell right here on Rock and Metal Revival.
This portion of Rock and Metal Revival is brought to you by
Get in the car.
What the fuck?
I got you the rollie so you could roll the bag, so get over here.
You're kidding? You bought me a bag for Christmas so that I could carry my own luggage?
Gina, come on. Let's go.
I'm gonna get you a dick sucker for Christmas so I don't have to do it no more.
Don't get it!
I'm going.
Jesus.
Gina.
There's Dio in the Last in Line on Rock and Metal Revival. And speaking of the Last in Line,
Yeah, I'm always last in line.
I am, too.
Sometimes they move me up front, but
Yeah.
not very often.
so one of my favorite Dio tunes of all times.
Great album too.
I only got to
I saw him on that tour.
Did you?
Yeah, in Florida.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was badass.
Cool.
Yeah, he had that fucking dragon and stuff.
Yeah.
And a whip, this laser light up whip thing, and yeah, it was pretty cool.
Nice.
Lasers and shit. Yeah, it was badass.
Nice. I always dug that album. Still listen to it today.
Yeah.
And that's a test of time when you can still be listening to an album almost 30-some years later.
For sure.
And we were lucky enough to get some time with Vivian Campbell, and
Yeah.
they got a new band called Last in Line. And what's
I
on?
wonder where they got that title.
I know.
from.
It's kind of crazy.
I've heard that before.
So what are we going to play? Star Maker or Martyr?
Probably Martyr.
Martyr? All right. From the CD
Craig
Heavy
Kent.
Crown, this is called Martyr. Vivian Campbell up next on Rock and Metal Revival. From one of my favorite albums that's out this year, Jerry, that is Martyr from Last in Line on Rock and Metal Revival. And, dude, since we got our hands on this,
It's been in my freaking CD player all the time. That's what I'm listening
yeah,
to.
we have not released it. I remember when Vinny was on the show and he told us, kind of gave us a hint that this was going on.
Yeah, it was like, oh, I can't wait to hear Viv back with his crunching guitar.
And we've got him on the show. We want to welcome Vivian Campbell to Rock and Metal Revival. Welcome, Viv.
How's it going, guys?
It's
Good,
going fantastic. And like we said, and we're not sugarcoating anything, this album is just killer.
Thank you very much. It was a labor of love for us to do, and it's been an absolute pleasure to play with Jimmy and Vinny again. And as you know, I'm sure it's been a very bittersweet experience, the release of this record, because Jimmy passed away a month before it came out, and I know that Jimmy really believed in it. To such extent, he went and got a tattoo with Last in Line. So,
Oh, man.
it was, and it's been like I said, a bittersweet experience for us because we really, really enjoyed each other's company. We enjoyed making this record so much and believe in it so much. And, it actually was ready to go a year ago, and we've been sitting on it for a year because we were waiting until we had an opportunity to go on tour to promote it. Because we believed in it that much. We just didn't want to just release it and have it wither on the vine. So it was particularly sad, Jimmy passing away when he did. So anyway, but at least, Jimmy left us with a strong record.
He really
Yeah,
did. And
for sure.
and I guess the next question is are you guys going to carry on now that Jimmy's gone? I mean, are we going to get a Last in Line tour, or are we going to get a follow-up CD? Has any of that been talked about?
Well, we actually were scheduled to go on tour. We canceled the tour. It just didn't seem right at the time. We have decided that we will honor a couple of the shows that we were scheduled to play, a couple of festival dates. One is for our record company in Milan in Italy, and the other is the Rocklahoma Festival around Memorial Day weekend. We'll do a couple of warm-up shows in advance of both of those also. We just last week got together with an old friend of ours who's a very, very well-known bass player, and he's going to stand in for us because, we didn't feel it was right to just get someone to play bass and go out on tour. That wouldn't have been good to Jimmy's memory, but it's also taken us some time to just get our head around this, and we've decided that we owe it to Jimmy, we owe it to each other, we owe it to this record, to do something with it. So baby steps for now, we'll do those shows, and then I'll be back out on the road with Leopard for the rest of the year, so it's kind of a moot point. Maybe at the end of 2016 we might consider going and doing a more comprehensive tour, because the record has been very, very well received. So it would be good to do what we can with it. As far as making another album, I really don't know. I mean, it still would be very difficult to think about doing that without Jimmy, because Jimmy was such a creative player. I mean, he was a great writer. He was a great creative energy. He would always keep things moving. When you were in the rehearsal room coming up with song ideas, Jimmy would always come up with something, always, So, and there was a great chemistry between Jimmy and Vinny and I, and it's going to be very, very difficult to replicate that,
Yeah,
sure.
I know that when I first heard the album, the whole thing, when we got our copy, I could really feel that energy that you guys had back in the Dio recordings. Is it just a chemistry between the three of you that comes out when you guys get together? That I mean, it's unmistakable when you hear that sound. It's you guys playing.
Well, I do believe in that kind of thing. I mean, I don't subscribe to the thought that you can just replace musicians and have it be the same. I mean, we can all play somewhat like other people, and I say this from benefit of a lot of experience, because I've been in a lot of bands and I've had to step into a lot of shoes to cover, and then for the last 24 years I've been playing with Def Leppard after Steve Clark passed away, but I do not play like Steve Clark, and I never will, and I never did, so it's that Def Leppard never sounded the same since I played with them. I do believe that we're all unique as musicians. It's kind of like the fingerprint thing. Everyone has a unique fingerprint, and every musician plays differently. Like every guitar player, I can play Gary Moore licks, and believe me, I've spent many, many years trying to, but I will never sound like Gary Moore. And it's okay to be inspired by other musicians, but it's a fool's errand to try and emulate them. We all bring something different. Every player has a different physical way that they play their instrument, a different attack, a different passion, a different tonality. And your tone as a guitar player is in your hands, much more so than what kind of guitar you're playing or what kind of amp or what effect pedal you have.
That's what I always say.
It's a physical thing, and no singer sounds the same, and no drummer plays the same. Like Vinny is such a unique drummer. The just the subtleties. It's the little nuanced things that make us all unique, and so there was a real chemistry with Jimmy and Vinny and I, and it was the undeniable sound of early Dio. And that's why it'll never quite be the same now that Jimmy's gone. Which is why I can't say for certainty that we would make another record as Last in Line. I really honestly don't know.
Well, I really am glad that you're back with this kind of music, because I love the way you play and your guitar solos. And I read that back in the day when you were doing the Dio first album, you used to really stress about doing your guitar solos, about how they were going to come out.
Well, that's because I don't go into the studio prepared. I've always been amazed when we're making Def Leppard records, when Phil steps in to do a solo, he knows exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah. And
I remember the first time I heard him do a solo in the studio, and I thought, wow, I said, that was great. Did you just, that just come out of you? And he said, no. He said, I kind of, I knew I was going to do this and then do that. And I was thinking, wow, I should probably do that. But I've just never been that kind of player. I kind of rely a little bit too much on inspiration, and sometimes it works brilliantly, and other times it's it's really bad. So, because here's the problem, guys, because the reason why I work that way, because the solo for Rainbow in the Dark was the very first solo that I recorded for the Holy Diver album.
I love that solo.
And the solo that's on the record is the very first take. Nice. It just kind of fell out. And I thought, wow, this is the way you do guitar solos. You just don't know what you're doing, and you just play, and the first one's a keeper, But from that point on, it got to be a lot more difficult, So nowadays, when I do go into the studio to do a solo, I try and at least have somewhat of a roadmap. I very, very, very seldom know what I'm going to do to the full extent, but I usually have a bit of an idea what's going to happen. You can't rely on inspiration alone.
Yeah.
Well, when I first heard the CD, Viv, I'm listening to it and I'm going, there's Viv right there. There's that guitar sound. Dude, you've been in Def Leppard for 24 years. Do they not give you the input that you would get? I mean, I just don't hear that sound coming out of you with Def Leppard.
Because Def Leppard don't need that from me.
Yeah.
My gig in Leopard exercises a very different muscle to my gig in Last in Line. In Last in Line, I do not sing. I put my head down and I play guitar, and it's very, very much a guitar challenge because I'm the only guitar player in the band, and it's very guitar-oriented music and very riff-centric, and there's a big guitar solo in every song that we do. Whereas with Leopard, the guitar solos are very concise, they're very short, they're very thematic, and there's two guitar players in the band, and the real gig is about the singing. Obviously the rhythm guitar playing has to be very concise and very tight as well. And I do take great pride in trying to do that to the best of my ability. And but it's the vocals is the real challenge in Leopard. In every single song, we're all singing and like really, really difficult parts. So it's a different muscle. And when I play with Last in Line, it is a whole different thing. And it's a great release for me to actually get back and play guitar like that again, and I do miss it, to be honest. So I'm very, very fortunate in so much as I have the best of both worlds. I get to exercise both muscles. I do love to sing as well, and through the years with Leopard, I've become pretty good at it. But I don't want to sing in Last in Line. I just want to shut up and play guitar.
Yeah. Well, we missed the way you've been playing too.
Well, thank you. It's been very cathartic to get back to that, and it happened for a lot of reasons. As I've said many times in talking about the genesis of Last in Line, is that it all kind of grew out of my playing with Thin Lizzy for a few months back in 2010, 2011. Scott Gorham called me up, and it was always going to be a temporary gig. He knew I was committed to Def Leppard, but Leppard weren't busy at the time, and he asked me to go on tour in Europe with Lizzy, and I jumped at the chance because that was my youth, when I was learning how to play guitar. I took so much from Thin Lizzy and the Lizzy guitar players Gorham and Robertson, and through my love of Thin Lizzy I discovered Gary Moore, who was my ultimate guitar hero. Nice. And so just being on stage with Brian Downey and Scott Gorham and playing Emerald and Black Rose and all the songs of my youth, it reignited that passion again, So I came off of that tour, and that's when I called up Vinny and Jimmy, and we went into a room and just started playing. And from that grew this idea to do some gigs, and from that grew the notion to actually write and record some new songs, over the period of a couple of years. So, but it kind of came around that, and other things were going on too. I got my cancer diagnosis in 2013, and guitar was my first love, and I had a very troubled adolescence and teenage years, and I was totally devoted and committed to playing guitar. That's all I did with my time. Yeah. It was really socially awkward, and I would just lock myself in my room and play loud guitar. But it saved my life at that time because my teenage years were a little bit troubled, and then I kind of found myself dealing with cancer again, and the timing was right. A guitar for the second time in my life has saved it. Just rediscovering that passion. Really kind of, it's my focus. It's what I'm good at. So it's really nice to get back to it.
Yeah.
Well, I was such a big Dio fan, and I've always been a fan of Ronnie's. I thought the guy that had the toughest gig in Last in Line was Andrew.
Yeah.
How has he stepped? His vocals are incredible.
Great.
That's a tough.
Yeah. Trying to fill shoes like that.
I don't even think he's trying to fill his shoes.
No,
but
he's definitely not, and that would be wrong.
Yeah.
And when we first kind of announced that we were going to do this, and people first heard Andrew, so many people were approaching me through my Facebook page, saying, "Why didn't you get so and so or this guy or that guy? They sound like Ronnie." And that's just totally 100% completely missing the point.
Yeah.
Ronnie, like I said before, every musician is unique, and Ronnie was the most unique singer and the best of the genre, and it would just be shit to try and replace him. You cannot replace musicians. So the fact that Andrew was a very, very powerful singer but had this completely different tonality, that's what first sparked the idea for me to actually do some gigs, because you had Vinny and Jimmy and I, when we play the unmistakable sound of early Dio, but you had this singer who was nothing like Ronnie but very powerful, and just it made it for a different thing. And so Andrew was never trying to step into Ronnie's shoes, but there was always going to be people making that comparison for obvious reasons. That's why I think it's great that we actually did get to this stage where we got to make an album of new material that are actually, Andrew songs, where people get to hear Andrew Freeman for what he really is, as a great singer and a great writer, and not someone doing a version of Ronnie's songs, So I'm sure it's a very, very big relief for Andrew that we've actually taken this step, and I think that he really, his performance on this record, his input to this record, not just as a singer but as a writer and as a lyricist, I think has just been immense.
Nice. Well, I love the way he sings. I love the way you play guitar, and being a guitarist myself, a lot of the things you've said so far ring so true. As your tone comes from your hands more than it comes from your pedals and all that stuff. And I was wondering, what do you look for when you're gonna pick up a new guitar or something, or at the guitar store or whatever?
I don't know. Sometimes cheap guitars sound great, because they just resonate more,
Yeah.
Those little cheap Dan Electros or little Les Paul copies, and sometimes the real expensive ones, like the $5,000 Les Paul, sometimes they're not that great,
Yeah.
It's so I would never take price as a guide for a guitar, and I actually do prefer used instruments. Yeah. Rory Gallagher was my first guitar hero. He was the first concert I saw, the first album I owned was Rory live in Europe, 72. Oh. So that, Rory had played a beat-up Strat that had practically no paint in it, and it was all rusted and scraped and whatnot, and that that's the way I like my guitars. I like patina on them, When I first bought a Les Paul, I actually took it home from the music store that night, and I took sandpaper to it, and I buffed off the finish because I couldn't stand having a shiny guitar, and then I proceeded to modify every single aspect of that guitar, and I still have that guitar. That's actually the first Les Paul I owned, and the one that I wrote and recorded and toured the Holy Diver album with.
Oh,
and,
nice.
And actually I did this Last in Line album with it too, and I haven't played it for decades. It's been in storage, and I took it out when I started playing with Jimmy and Vinny again. It just seemed fitting that I go back to use the actual guitar that we did Holy Diver with. So, and it's not the best Les Paul I own, not by a long shot, but it's obviously there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
Character.
Imbued in that instrument, so it means a lot to me. But, used guitars. My second favorite Les Paul, and the one I use primarily with Def Leppard, is a bastardized guitar, but it started as a 78 Custom that I bought for $400 in a pawn shop in Nashville in 1992, because I loved the neck of it. It ended up getting run over at an airport and got the body was trashed. But I did manage to salvage the neck and the headstock and the front pickup, and then I rebuilt it around that. But the neck was the important thing. And sometimes used guitars are great. There's a lot of history in them already,
Yeah, they're worn in, and exactly.
Hey, Viv, now, of all the Dio stuff you did, is there one that has a special place for you, which your favorite, the one you're most proud of?
Well, it's got to be between the first two albums, Holy Diver and Last in Line. That's when the band was really in sync with each other. By the time we got to the third album, Sacred Heart, the wheels were starting to fall off in many ways. We kind of lost our direction on that. We started using keyboards a lot more in the writing process. The arrangements became more complicated, unnecessarily so, some of us felt. And Ronnie was in a really dark place. He had just separated from his wife and the band's manager, and so it didn't set a good tone for making that record. But yeah, the Holy Diver album and the Last in Line album, God, between the two of them, they were so easy to make. There was a real camaraderie in the band. Everyone was working towards a common goal. We all really believed in what we were doing. Pretty much exactly the same way that we felt when we were doing this Heavy Crown album. That's why I wanted to bring it back to that place where we started with Holy Diver, without keyboards, guitar, bass, drums, vocal. Excellent. Which was the way we wrote and recorded the Holy Diver album. It's hard to pull a favorite track, to be honest. But if you had to narrow it down to just one, I would take the actual song Last in Line, the title track from the second album.
Good tune.
Which is one of the reasons also why I named this band Last in Line.
That's awesome.
Because that really solidified what we were all about. That song is very, very much a co-write. I had the intro written and the actual main riff. Jimmy came up with a little verse part. Vinny came up with the arrangement for the middle. Ronnie, of course, came up with the lyric and the melody. It was very, very much a team effort, and it really, it was the song that made it possible for us to do the second album. Once we had written that song, I remember the night that it all came together. The next day, Ronnie booked the studio. Even though we hadn't written the rest of the album, he knew that we had the centerpiece for the album. We had the main thing, the title track, the epic song on the record, and that the rest would just fall into place, which it did. You know, so that was a very special song.
That's awesome. Now I got one more guitar question. Do you think the talk box isn't used enough anymore?
You know, I was never a fan of it. I can see, you know, I love wah-wah. Yeah. And it's kind of like doing wah-wah with your mouth.
Yeah.
But it's the one thing I never kind of wanted to have. Like when I was a guitar kid, you know, every birthday, every Christmas, whatever, I'd be badgering my parents to buy me a fuzz pedal or a wah pedal, you know, overdrive pedal or a phaser or a chorus pedal or a delay pedal or something like that. But the talk box was never on my wish list.
You're never going to.
So I'm going to go with no.
The Frampton comes alive again. You're not going to go there. Well, Viv, where's a great place for your fans to keep up with you and Last in Line and what's going on with you guys?
I'm pretty active on my Facebook page. I haven't been for the last couple of months since Jimmy passed away, but I'll get back to it. You know, and I do interact with people on that. So if people want to actually get in touch with me personally, that's the place to do it. So it's Vivian Campbell Official, I think. I should probably know these things, but I don't. And Last in Line, Last in Line Official is the Last in Line website, and we also kind of, Andy and Vinny and myself are reasonably active on the Last in Line Facebook page. I don't do Twitter.
I don't blame you.
No, I'm not. I'm on it, but I don't use it.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah. You know, it's hard. You really end up devoting a lot of your life to social media sometimes. So every now and again, it's nice to take a break.
Get away.
Hiatus.
Well, we're going to play another track off the Last in Line, and this is really hard to choose, but we let you choose, and you pick Star Maker. What's significance with that tune?
You know, I just think it's a great song. It's an epic song, and it sounds like it like several of the songs in this record. It sounds like an era. It could have been in the 70s or the early 80s when rock was king. You know, and when Vinny and Jimmy and I were kicking around ideas for riffs, you know, that's very typical of the sort of thing that we would write. You know, that's the style. So I really do think that song embodies a lot of what the band Last in Line is about. And it also just has massively great Jimmy Bean bass tone in the verses. Nice. You know, the verses are very empty, and you can hear just what a great toneful bass player Jimmy was.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Well, Vivian Campbell, it has been an honor for us to have you on Rock and Metal Revival, and you are welcome here anytime.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
There's Lita Ford and Back to the Cave on Rock and Metal Revival. And, hey, it was good to have Vivian Campbell on the show, dude.
Yeah, that was cool. I didn't know what to expect with him, but, nice guy.
Nice guy.
Talked to him about guitars for a long time, too.
Yeah, and great guy, and glad to have him. I hope that Last in Line continues.
Yeah. I hope they get a good bass player to come in. I know you were going to audition, but he turned that down.
No, he said I didn't need a guy like...
he didn't need Billy Sheehan.
No.
He just needs somebody to hold down
the rhythm. So, I was out right away.
Yeah. You and
as technical as
all
I
that
am.
Tapping and stuff that you do.
Yeah, I'm a regular...
playing with your teeth. And
Jocko.
Yeah.
Pastorius.
Yeah, you're a Jocko, all right.
Yeah, I'm a Jocko, all right. Yeah. All right, we want to, like I said, thank Vivian for coming on the show. Next week, we have... a lady that we've had on the show a couple of times, and she got a brand new book out.
Oh yeah,
called "Living Like a Runaway."
Yeah, I wonder who it could be. Is it Lita? Is it Joan Jett?
No, it's Lita Ford.
Oh yeah.
So looking forward to having Lita Ford on the show next week. Going to talk about her new book, her new album, and just talk to Lita.
Yeah,
Lita's cool.
Yeah, Lita's all right.
Yeah, and looking forward to that. Also, what else we got coming up? We got Big Daddy Rich from Texas Hippie Coalition coming up. We got
we got
Hounds of Jezebel coming up, and who else we got coming up? Ben Wells is going to be on the show. I know I talked to him the other day. So we got plenty of artists coming on.
Yeah, who else?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either, man.
Red and Jerry will be here.
We'll be here.
Yeah, that's right. Unfortunately, we will both be here. We want to congratulate Deep Purple and Cheap Trick this weekend, going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That'll be
you
cool,
guys
man.
rock. And boy, a lot of people checking out that Dax Nielsen interview on Spreaker.
Oh, yeah? Cool.
So that's kind of cool, too. So until next week, don't drink and drive.
Oh, smoke and fly.
Peace.
This brings to an end another edition of Rock and Metal Revival. If you enjoyed it, tell a friend. If you didn't, tell two. Until next time, this is Rock and Metal Revival.
I said, who wants to fucking touch me?
To catch the whole show of Rock and Metal Revival, all you have to do is check it out on these affiliates. Mega Rock Radios on Saturdays from 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and on Uncontrolled Noise Tuesdays at 1 a.m., Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and on Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern on UncontrolledNoise.com. And make sure that you leave them a message and tell them that you found Rock and Metal Revival on their stations. Enjoy this edition of Rock and Metal Revival.